Special thanks to Faith in Practice. It's an honor to serve them for a change. They serve so many people. This is an awesome organization. You're going to learn more about them in just a minute. Spaw Maxwell, they are near and dear to Spaw Maxwell employees. We go back to, Joe was telling me a minute ago, go back to about 1997 in a way that we support them, and it's just a pleasure to work with them. So thank you, Faith in Practice. And they are the sole beneficiary of this event, and here to tell you more about it is their executive director, Linda McCarty. Linda.
Thank you. Faith in Practice is a medical mission organization that provides medical, surgical, and dental care to the poor of Guatemala. Guatemala, which is the poorest of all the Central American nations. Populated primarily by indigenous Maya, there are 23 languages spoken there outside of Spanish. A typical Guatemalan home constitutes a dirt floor with a corrugated roof and wooden branches as walls. Oftentimes, the families live and sleep in the same room. Guatemala is a land of incredible beauty and incredible tragedy, a land of grace and humility and great violence. It was into this land that Joe and Vera Wyatt 16 years ago entered in response to a calling from God to serve the poor. They took their first volunteer team of medical professionals of 12 at that time. Since that day, under their wonderful leadership, Faith in Practice has grown significantly. This past year, we served 17,000 patients in Guatemala. That applause is for our 800 wonderful medical professional volunteers and lay people who come to Guatemala with their hearts and their hands open to serve, bringing great energy and joy and expertise. And what they find there is an amazing, gentle people. And what our volunteers will say to you, if they were here tonight, is that the line between who is served and who is being served becomes very blurry because their lives are touched by these people. That is why we say Faith in Practice is truly life-changing medical mission, because everyone who comes to the endeavor is changed for the better for it, and the grace of God flows throughout. We can't really speak about the history of Faith in Practice without mentioning that interwoven into that history are names like Tom Forney and David Spaw, Fred Maxwell and Leroy Taylor, Pat Stanley and Larry Barker. Individuals who have supported us with great grace and in many ways behind the scenes, not coming to Guatemala as often, but serving with incredible grace and making everything that we do possible. Our relationship began with things such as fishing tournaments and assistance with our annual gala as it got off the ground, and all the way to today, to events like this, for which we are so incredibly grateful. As I tell you a little bit more about Faith in Practice, I'd like to explain about that partnership that is really an incredible blessing, not only to Faith in Practice, but to the people of Guatemala, as I show you the video that's starting. When we first started bringing teams to Guatemala, we were performing surgeries at Las Obras Sociales del Hermano Pedro, which is a small charity hospital in Antigua, Guatemala. There were 2 small operating rooms, and our surgeons were often overwhelmed because they would arrive and the hospital, which is on a full block, would be surrounded by patients waiting very quietly, having come miles and miles, hours and hours, on a chicken bus or in the back of a pickup truck or on foot, in the hopes that just maybe the American doctor could ease some of their pain. There were 2 problems that were presented in those early days. One is that we just didn't have enough room to serve all the people and to meet all the need. The second was these people were coming from such long distances and they had no money, so they were sleeping on the streets waiting for their surgery, and then when they were completed with their surgery, there was no place for them to stay, and they were forced to get on that chicken bus or the back of that pickup truck and in pain bump on their way home. So we thought we need to do something about that, which resulted in the Casa de Fe. The Casa de Fe is something that would not exist without the assistance of Spaw Maxwell, lending its expertise to build what is truly, there's our Tom Forney, truly a haven for the lost and the lonely, the forgotten. There are 110 beds at the Casa de Fe. Patients come and are there for the night before their surgeries, and then their family member can stay there while they await their release from the hospital. The patients then can rest before getting on the bus back home. I have never gone to the Casa de Fe where one of the patients hasn't said to me that it is truly a blessing from God, this beautiful place for them. And I was just there this past week, and a gentle soul, a kind-faced man said to us that he liked being at the Casa de Fe because at the Casa de Fe he was treated like a human being. So often, the people and the poor of Guatemala are not treated like human beings, and the Casa de Fe is a haven to make sure that we witness that all life is valued. Our second project was to expand our services at Las Obras Sociales. This is the hospital, the old hospital run by the Franciscans. Again, we could not expand those two small, cramped operating rooms without the assistance of Spaw Maxwell. Spaw Maxwell came and partnered with an architect from Guatemala City and built 4 state-of-the-art expanded operating services in Las Obras, which is no small feat because that is an antiquity built in the 1500s, and so there was a lot to work around. With these new 4 operating rooms, we were able to increase the amount of surgeries performed by 40%, and we could do more complex surgeries and help more people. Not only that, but the ambiance was much nicer for the patients, and the patients could receive the care that they needed. That wasn't enough, though. We're maxed out at the Obras Sociales, and so we moved on to Patsun, a small hospital in the Highlands run by Franciscan nuns, where I met Larry Barker for the first time. And Spaw Maxwell helped us renovate 2 operating rooms there. It's a 12-bed hospital with a little clinic run by those hermanas right there. That's a laparoscopic equipment that was donated by one of our teams. We performed surgeries for the first time there in 2007. The team returned in 2008. I had the privilege of being on that first team, mostly new volunteers. And I can tell you that the experience of these volunteers particularly was profound. Their lives have truly been changed. They continue to come back. There's a hogar with 80 children, a nutritional center, because children that don't have the right support in Guatemala usually die by the age of 6. So the hogar is to get them to the age of 6. And they play with the surgeons in between cases. Sarstún is an interesting location in Guatemala. It's in the northeast part of Guatemala. It is a barter community. There are no roads, so you have the mountains on one side and you have the ocean on the other. Sarstún is a project where Faith and Practice provided the resources, Spaw Maxwell the expertise, Refuge International is providing the management, and what is really special about this place is that the surrounding communities provided the labor to build their own clinic. This is the only clinic for miles around and services a significant amount of people that otherwise would have no access to health care whatsoever. We tend to go to places where nobody else wants to go. So the most recent project is Hospital Hilario Galindo, which is in the southwest part of Guatemala. This was an old hospital in complete disrepair. It is truly an honor and a privilege to know the leadership in that hospital who, with such grace and courage, continue to hold on when they had no money and no resources to continue on with their work. We came in with the help of Spaw Maxwell, it could not be done without their support, to renovate the hospital, the operating rooms there. We brought our first medical clinic there and served many hundreds of people, and then we brought our first surgical team there in June of 2008. Our medical teams, what they tend to do is go out into the villages and they do the triage for the different locations so that we will refer patients into the locations that are best suited for their surgeries throughout the year to provide a true continuity of care. I can thank you for coming here tonight and supporting this cause. And I could thank Spaw Maxwell for everything that they have done. And I do. As do the Board of Directors of Faith and Practice itself. But my thanks will pale in comparison to the thanks that come from our patients who never fail to say to us, thank you for not forgetting us. May God bless you and walk with you every day of your life. So what I would like to do is extend their thanks on their behalf to say thank you, Spaw Maxwell, for your incredible and humble service, that it's been consistent. And to all of you for being here tonight, may God walk with you each day and every day of your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Joe, for this. And Vera, thank you for this incredible ministry. And thank you for all that you do.